Hello, everyone. Welcome to RemixRadar, which is the signal behind the remix, basically highlighting the economic potential of bootleg remixes. Okay, so to start out, we're just going to highlight a proven success story. Basically, we had a song called No Broke Boys released by Tinashe back in August of 2024. Didn't do that much for her as an artist. But then we have an artist, Disco Lines, who made a remix of that song, drops at EDC Las Vegas, gets a massive response. We see that response show up on TikTok. We see it tagged across the board. Fans demand a release. They notice that, they notice the signals, and then they release the song by June 6, 2025. A month later, it is Billboard #1 in hot dance and electronic songs. In tandem with all of this, a SoundCloud remix is released right after, and this showed potential on TikTok as well, and then ends up getting released on Spotify and just generates revenue for all rights holders. So we see just this massive demand. I'm going to toss it to Ben.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, that's the case that got us interested in whether or not there was an opportunity here. And really the opportunity is that there are unofficial remixes out there. They're already made. And they have this untapped potential as potential revenue sources if they're cleared, or as marketing tools if they're cleared and they can be used in collaboration to sort of drive forward a campaign or an artist's resurgence or rediscovery. We know that remixes and remix culture is a hotbed for innovation, creativity, and discovery, and SoundCloud is sort of the nexus of that. The problem, though, is that, first of all, if there are these unofficial remixes, the rights holders are leaving money on the table by not clearing that and giving it a venue for monetization. But also, the problem we wanted to solve is that cases like this Disco Lines Tinashe phenomenon exist, and they happen, but they happen somewhat randomly. So we wanted to create a good tool for identifying these potentials. So that's our solution, is building a data-driven decision tool for A&Rs, artists, and managers.
Okay, so how it works, basically the user inputs data into the tool. It could be the artist name, could be the song title. It could even be a full catalog of ISRCs. Next, RemixRadar pulls track and artist level data from SoundCloud and sorts that feed based on likes, stream count, whatever makes the most sense, whatever the user wants. And then the data is weighted into metrics based off of data pulled from the Chartmetric API. So basically we pull in social media following of the remixing artist and use that to help generate this heat score, this opportunity score. And then from here, an A&R can basically generate a licensing summary detail sheet, or they could do nothing, which they normally do, or they could issue a takedown request if they really don't want the song to be out there.
Yeah, that's Adam highlighted where the data came from, but this is just a user journey, basically. I'll run through it kind of quickly, but the first step is input of all this data. I want to highlight the bulk catalog upload. That's sort of a speculative feature at this point, but it would just be XML or CSV data. Adam, next, please. Yeah, so then the next one is just the output that has a list of all the songs in the catalog search case. It would be all the songs that that the label or rights holder has the rights to. And then it would surface sort of the track info and then a lot of those performance metrics we're talking about. Next slide, next one, please. Yep. Then I mean, it has a pop-up to see if you want to see like how much of a good match this might be for the original artist, whether they need they're really in need of something like a remix to drive revenue or momentum or not. It gives you the licensing splits, so you can see if it's going to be a complex case, if it's going to be a difficult artist that doesn't like clearing their catalog, or if it's going to be pretty straightforward and you should just green light it. Next. Yeah, finally, like I said, it just gives you some resources to take to your team, whether you want to like do a pitch summary, you want to do a detail sheet to go over the details and really hash it out, or just like submit the takedown request like you normally do.
Great. Let's do the quick demo. I think we're close to time. I'm going to stop sharing and allow Alexey to demo.
Yeah, basically I have maybe 10 seconds, but it works like on the artist level, on song level, and we can search. It's all live now, so it takes time to calculate those opportunity scores and find remixes. But in the end, we have a list of remixes that are found, and we are able to select them and see the opportunity, like all the way to the royalty projection for this
All
one,
right,
for example.
guys.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to cut you
That's
off
it.
there.
Thank you.
But excellent job. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm gonna bring our judges up to the stage, so we can ask. They can ask some questions. All right, let's see, judges. There's Aaron, Ahmed. Miriam,
Hey there.
Maureen, and Stephanie. Hello, good to see you, many of you again. Thank you so much. Let's start with, let's see, Ahmed, do you have a question for the team?
Yeah, and forgive me if this was answered at the beginning. I was having some audio issues. I'm curious about your use cases and like how you guys have been able to kind of monetize what you guys have built.
I can take that. Yeah, just so we talked about the use case in the beginning. Basically, we had this song created originally by the artist Tanash, and it didn't really do so well for her. It was okay, but then Disco Lines created a remix of that song, and that song really blew up. And they used TikTok. They basically noticed that it was blowing up on TikTok. Decided to release it like 3 weeks later after playing it at EDC. But then, so they decided to do an official remix, and that song was the song of the summer. But then right after that was released, SoundCloud DJs naturally just hop on, a hot song. And this producer, Avello, created one that blew up on SoundCloud, but also on TikTok. And then Avello's team Disco Line's team saw that and basically released it on Spotify later, shortly after. So we saw that this just, like this signal was on SoundCloud, and you just have these massive remixes that can be monetized if the rights holders are willing to license them. Because that song currently has about 10 million streams, was released 3 months ago, about the Avello remix.
Excellent. Let's see, and Miriam, do you have a question for the team?
I do, yeah. Thank you so much for the presentation. I was super curious about the like data sourcing in terms of figuring out who has rights on the song. So I was wondering, what's the source of truth? Like, are you pulling directly from PROs or like third-party data sources, or how's that work?
We haven't built out. I don't think we've built out the actual agreements with sort of sharing those splits yet. It's more of a speculative thing, but maybe I'm wrong, Adam.
Yeah, well, Alexey, we brought in some level of rights from Chartmetric, actually, with the Chartmetric API. So that's, yeah. So it does exist in there, actually. If you click on, you can actually see a breakdown even of how many rights holders there are. Because another feature we were thinking about adding is like, how difficult would this be to clear based on how many different rights holders are there? So just because that's
we also spoke with someone with label experience who told us labels have their sort of internal go no go lists with artists that they already kind of have these carve outs for. So we were hoping to integrate that with the sort of publicly available Chartmetric data on the splits, so they could look at it and get a signal like, this could be an opportunity for revenue, but it's probably going to be not worth your time.
Yeah, and Alexey, that's coming from Chartmetric, right? I don't know if you're muted.
Do we?
Yeah, sorry, it's royalty.io data as well.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
Excellent. Since the first question was a bit of a clarifying question, I'll let you do one more. Let's see. Aaron, do you have a question for the team?
Yeah, I do. And I love it, guys. It's very cool.
Thank you.
The first case study that you shared, like, knowing that you've come looking at a lot of data, do you have a sense for like what the market size opportunity is? Like, specifically, like, do you think there are like dozens of examples just like that, or kind of like sitting there like on a quarterly basis? Like, what's your kind of understanding of how much opportunity this really is?
It's a good question. Don't have like a numerical figure for you, but I can say that at least just from querying, because we've been using the tool, and I'll actually look at some of the top songs by Spotify streams. I mean, I would argue that like I would say there's like in the hundreds, at least from an estimation. And I mean, that would be an interesting analysis to run to say how many remixes on SoundCloud have over like 1 million streams or a certain threshold of streams and are not officially released, and so these are basically just untapped potential for these rights holders. So I think this tool can help at least answer that question.
Love it. Thank you.